Okay, welcome to the Your Major Abroad, Study Abroad presentation. Today, I hope you can see my screen. Today, we will be talking about various opportunities and options for students who are interested in learning or starting a new language or continuing learning a language abroad. Okay, so in terms of what we'll be talking about today, as you can see, we have quite a few bullet points to go over today. Hopefully you will find this information, this presentation helpful. If you have questions, since there are only few of us, feel free to interrupt, put the questions in the chat so that we can hopefully address your concerns or any questions you may have. Okay, I think, oops, sorry, let me go back, previous. Big thumbs up, of course, if you've ever traveled abroad, if you speak a language other than English, and if we had sort of a bigger group of students, I think it would have been kind of a little bit more interactive maybe, to share our own experiences in terms of why don't we do that actually, even for such a small group? And I'm gonna go first. So let me first introduce myself. My name is Irina Krymova. I'm Senior Associate Director at the Study Abroad office. I've been in the office for a long time. I am originally from Russia. I studied abroad. My first ever study abroad experience out of Russia was to China. I was I was majoring in Chinese linguistics when I was studying at Moscow State University. So when I talk to a lot of students at UIC, I can relate to this first time on the plane, first time out of the country, first time getting a passport. I always get very excited to talk to students when they're thinking for the first time going abroad. I was super nervous, but I was super excited. I've studied Chinese for some time before I went, but when I came to China, I realized that I don't understand anything. I can't say a word. I don't know what's going on around me. I was there, I was terrified. I didn't know how to use chopsticks. I mean, it was quite a culture shock with everything. By the end of that year, I knew that I really wanted to continue my language studies. I didn't want to go back. It was such a rewarding experience. And look at me, I'm a study abroad advisor, right? I help other students to experience, explore, learn, travel, have fun, and just learn a lot of different things, not only the language, right? We all know that when you're abroad, it's not only about language, it's not only about all the courses or academics that you study, it's also about what do you do, who you meet, right? It's just a lot of different experiences. So Marisol, if you can say a few words why you're interested in this presentation, what language you're studying, kind of what are you hoping to gain out of study abroad experience?
Okay, my name is the audio on? Okay. My name is Marisol. I speak Chinese. So Chinese, English, broken Spanish. And I just want to experience. I've never been out of the country either. So yeah.
Great. Ni hao ma. I don't remember much, but I can speak a few words. So, 欢迎, 欢迎. All right. Kate, you're next on my screen.
Okay. Yeah. Hello. Well, so as I'll talk about later, I am one of the directors, as is Carrie Pichan, who just entered, of a new program in Spain. And Spain is where I studied abroad as an undergraduate. I was in Toledo, which, like our location, Alcalá de Henares, is less than an hour outside of Madrid, so both near the kind of big capital city. This was when I was a sophomore, so kind of earlier in my studies. And then I went back to Spain and stayed in Madrid one summer, not with a program, but I got like a little like fellowship grant from the study abroad office of my university to do like research related to my BA thesis. So that was also kind of a study abroad experience, more independent, but yeah, and I fell in love with Spain and Madrid, maybe especially over those 2 trips. And after graduating, I lived in Spain for 3 years. So probably would not have done that had I not done the study abroad. And it was a great experience overall. So.
Yay, thank you. Sarah, I have you next on my screen.
My name is Sarah, and I can speak a little bit of Mandarin, Cantonese I'm fluent in, and English.
Oh, yay, awesome, great. Welcome. Carrie, do you mind sort of maybe introducing yourself? Hello, first of all. As I said, you know, we have 2 students here, so just, you know, very intimate and sort of private presentation.
That is just fine. I hope you don't mind that I'm on the bus right now. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, that's the beauty of the Zoom. So that's great. We can all join in from whenever we are.
I know I wasn't anticipating an introductory portion, and I will be home by the time that we present, that Keith and I present, or I was planning on, though timing working out. I don't know if we're running a little bit early now. But in any case, hi everyone. I am Carrie Pichan, and I am a visiting lecturer in the Spanish program, Italian, and in linguistics as well. And along with Keith, as he mentioned, we have worked over these past several months, put together this new program that we'll get to talk about in Spain. But for my study abroad experience, I did study abroad in Madrid as an undergrad. I spent my whole junior year in Madrid, and it was such an eye-opening experience. And I came back with so much perspective that I didn't realize that I would gain through being away from home and in a different culture, in a different language. And it is just a perspective that has, you know, followed me ever since. And so I was there for a year, had a great study abroad experience. And I stayed in a homestay for 1 semester and in an apartment with other American students a second semester. So I kind of have both experiences there. I would definitely recommend a homestay. I learned so much and still in contact with my host family. And then I also did my master's in Madrid. So I was there for a year. So I, you know, felt so encouraged to go back to Madrid, and it really is a second home to me. And I have so many friends there now. And it's always great to go back and feel like I'm visiting my second home. So I'm so excited to be able to bring students there and provide them with a similar opportunity to what I have.
Thanks a lot, Carrie. And we'll definitely, you'll have a chance, and, you know, hopefully you'll be home by then to present the program. So as you know, we'll just move along with the presentation. And I think, you know, this next slide, sort of why study abroad, I think all of us who have studied abroad already mentioned that there are quite a few benefits. They're personal, they're professional, they're academic benefits. Of course, again, and just kind of from my own experience, when I was going abroad for the first time, I didn't have any self-confidence. I didn't know that I could survive. I didn't know that I could do a lot of things by myself. But then definitely after spending a year in China, that it taught me a lot of, it just gave me a lot of sort of practical skills that I'm using, you know, I have been using ever since. In terms of professional benefits, of course, you meet a lot of new people, you sort of make connections. I had a student who was finance. I always like to give this sort of examples. from real life with my students. So I had a student who was a finance major. He went abroad to London. He was studying there for a semester. Then he stayed for another semester. So overall, he was there for a year. And he actually didn't come back because he was offered a job in one of the banks in London. And he took the opportunity and he's been living in London. We have a lot of students who do internships abroad. So that's also an option. It's a possibility. So if you guys are thinking about internship, make sure ask your advisors or look into different programs that do offer internship opportunities. Of course, there are a lot of, it's a study abroad, right? So there are a lot of academic benefits. What I always like to tell my students is, think about or plan to take classes that would add to your UIC degree or to would enhance your UIC degree. So perhaps there are not a lot of classes that, like for example, I'll give you an example, maybe for, you're not public health. So you're interested in studying language, right? But also there could be other, maybe you're minoring in biology. Maybe you want to take biology abroad, and that way, you know, maybe you will take a course that would talk about biology or Chinese for biology majors. You know, I'm just kind of making it up, but there are a lot of different things that you can explore so that, you know, you can sort of add and enhance your UIC degree. There could be courses that are not offered at UIC, and those would be the courses that you should definitely look into to take abroad. Of course, when you are studying abroad and when you're taking classes abroad, you will earn UIC credit, right? So they will go towards your UIC degree. They will fulfill your degree requirements. So again, there are a lot of, as we see, there are obviously a lot of benefits to studying abroad. Let me just ask. Sorry, Marisol and Sarah, can you share what are you majoring if you already know what your major is? Marisol?
I major, yeah. I major in sociology and I have a minor in linguistics.
Okay, great.
I'm majoring in chemistry.
Okay, do you have a minor? No, but you clearly have interest in studying a language maybe abroad, right? That's why you're attending a session. But as you can see, again, I don't want to read through the slides. I think you can certainly read through this. But you know, immersing yourself in a different culture and in terms of learning the language, that's probably obviously the best way to learn the language. I remember when I was studying in China, the common language, so I was studying with international students, and the common language that we used to communicate was Chinese. We'll have different, obviously, skills and levels of Chinese. So sometimes it was just kind of a sign language, but towards the end, we sort of, you know, helped each other and it kind of progressed. But obviously that was the great way for us to learn the language. We also stayed with host families. There were options to stay in dorms or with host families. In dorms, you could stay with international students. And again, we use Chinese to communicate with each other. But as Carrie mentioned, staying with a host family would help you to improve your language skills drastically. There are a lot of programs that do offer homestay opportunities. I know that usually homestays are selected in such a way that they don't speak English. And again, this is a great way for students. I mean, at first, I've heard, you know, when I talk to students, first couple of weeks, it's difficult. It's kind of like, oh my God, I don't know. But again, you're forced to use the language. So which gives you, again, you know, kind of like forces you to use your language skills. It's a great way to learn about local culture when you stay with the family. And of course, you know, if you have those language skills that you've mastered abroad, you can apply those skills in a professional setting. So it depends, like public health or social services, anything that you're interested in. And of course, we know that it will make you marketable when you are looking for, job, or when you're applying for graduate school. That will be something different on your resume that hopefully would sort of make you different from any other applicants. Again, feel free to interrupt if you have any questions, or if you, Carrie and Kate, if you want to add any comments. This is our team. So there are 5 of us. We advise sort of on different regions of the world. So depending on where you're interested in going, you may have different advisors. So I advise mainly on programs in Asia. So if you are interested in going to Asia, I will be your advisor. Marley is the advisor for Spanish-speaking world, or Spanish-speaking countries. So as you can imagine, she has quite a few programs in her portfolio. Crystal does, this is not really language oriented. She advises on our exchange programs and also programs in Oceania. Maggie is, maybe you've met her when you did your first step. So she's our sort of first point of contact. So she kind of advises on all different programs that we have. And Kyle, our executive director, who advises on virtual internship programs. Where can you go? Well, you can go pretty much anywhere. I think we have programs, I know we counted 50 plus countries, something like that. So there are quite a few different options to choose from. Okay, so there are different types of programs that we offer. So faculty-directed programs, and this is what we will talk later in more details about the program that Carrie and Kate will be offering this upcoming summer. So the faculty-directed programs are usually short-term. I would say on average, there are 4 to 6 weeks programs. They could be offered during summer or academic breaks. If they are offered during the academic breaks, that is usually, as you can imagine, it will only be during a spring break, during the spring semester. So students would take a course at UIC, and then as part of that course, they would travel to a country outside of the United States for the spring break. But during the summer, as I mentioned, it's usually about 4 to 6 weeks long. The programs are led by UIC faculty members. So this program is usually only open. We may have some non-UIC students. That's something that is new now starting this year, but majority of the students who will be participating are UIC students. And of course, it is a UIC coursework that students will be taking abroad. Majority of the programs that we offer are offered through partners. Those programs are offered during summer, semester, or year. Occasionally, we do have students who go for a year, but it doesn't happen that often due to various reasons. So if you guys are thinking about going for a year, yay, that would be great. There are options. You can do 2 different locations. You can do different programs in a year. So again, if that's something that you're interested in, please talk to us and we'll help you to figure out what's the best option for you. So for the partnership programs, there are also different types of programs. So within those partnerships, there could be some study center programs, or there could be programs that are offered at various universities around the world. So again, depending on what the students are looking for, we're here to help to figure out what the best program option would be for you. Because as you can imagine, for example, if you are taking courses at local universities, oftentimes the coursework would be in a local language. So then there will be different eligibility requirements in terms of the language training and language skills that you have. So again, there are a lot of different options, different opportunities, and we're here to help to figure out and identify the best programs that will work for you. And then the third program option that we have is an exchange program. So that's basically literally what it means. Somebody from UIC goes to that particular university in exchange. Students from that university would come to UIC to study. It's a slightly different financial model, if I may say that. So when students are going exchange programs, they pay regular UIC tuition. Whereas when students decide to go in partnership or faculty directed programs, then they just pay a program fee. In terms of the exchange programs, again, as I mentioned, we have an advisor designated to sort of working with students who are interested in exchange programs. Her name is Crystal. So if that's something you are considering, please reach out to her, schedule an appointment, and she will be able to give you more information about exchange options and sort of what needs to happen in order to apply for exchange. This is again just sort of an overview in terms of what's, when programs are offered. So for short-term and summer programs, we have faculty directed, again, the partner programs. In terms of financial aid, as you can see, for any types of programs, if you're on financial aid, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, you can use all your financial aid to pay for study abroad. There are also internships options, depending on the program. As you can see, pretty much all the program types do offer internship except for exchange programs. Take classes at local university. With faculty-directed programs, as you will learn, this is not really an option because it's a much shorter program, and also UIC faculties are designing their courses. That's why there are no options to take courses at the university. But through partnership programs, you can also take courses at the local university. So this is just sort of, again, an overview. I don't know if we need to go through every single bullet point, but one thing to mention is that for exchange programs, students are able to use tuition waivers. So if you have tuition waiver at UIC, and since for exchange programs, students pay UIC tuition, then you can use your tuition waiver for the exchange program. Any questions? No, we're all good. Moving forward. Okay, academics abroad. All the courses that you will be taking abroad, first of all, they have to be pre-approved by the appropriate advisor. So if you're planning or if you're thinking of taking your major courses abroad, then you'll need to get in touch with your major advisor. Same would apply for minor. And of course, gen ed and electives, you would need to get approval from your general advisor. Differences in academics abroad, of course, depending on the program type that you choose. And again, the advisor would address that. We'll need to talk, or you need to sort of do research and prepare yourself in a way that academics or the way of teaching, a teaching style could be very different. To give you an example, if you go, let's say, to university in the UK, professors usually don't check attendance. There may not be any tests or quizzes throughout the semester, and your final grade could be based on that one final exam, right, that you take in the end of the semester. So as you can imagine, it's all kind of on you. So you need to pace yourself and study throughout the semester because nobody will be checking on you. You're an adult, right? So this is all yours. But again, you need to make sure you understand how the academics work because this is not what you guys are used to. You're used to having a syllabus at the beginning of the semester. You need to know when things are happening in terms of homework, what to do, but different countries have different styles of teaching. So again, depending on the program type, and depending on the location, your advisor will address this kind of academic differences with you. And of course, there are programs, not every program, but there are programs that offer experiential learning opportunities. If that's something you're interested in, so when you are searching for a program, make sure that particular program offers this kind of opportunities. We good? Any questions? All good? No? Okay. Again, as I think I already mentioned, but they're more than just study. We have quite a few programs that offer internships. I think it's a great opportunity for students to, again, get experience, work on that resume or on that graduate school application and have something unique on your resume. For a lot of, even outside of English-speaking countries, students do not need to speak the language. Of course, it's always helpful to have some background in the language. Again, this is not a requirement. Students earn academic credit, so it's a course that you would take. It's usually a 3 credit hour course. They're unpaid internships, although I've been noticing that in some countries, they started offering some paid internship. But as a rule, usually all internships are unpaid. So again, I would really think about it. And if that's something is what you're interested in, when you're searching for programs, make sure those programs offer this kind of opportunities. Research. Now, more and more programs are offering research opportunities for students. We even have some programs that offer lab research. So again, if students are interested, that's an option as well. I would, if you are in the Honors College, a lot of Honors College students use this research abroad as their sort of capstone project. So again, talk to your study abroad advisor, talk to your fellow at the Honors College and the Honors College Honors College advisor, just to make sure you know what the requirements are in order to fulfill that requirement. And now we've also added service learning opportunities for students. So again, if that is something that you're interested in, make sure when you are researching the programs, make sure to look into that and kind of choose a program that does offer service learning options for you. Questions? Oh, I just saw a question. In the faculty-directed program, do we take courses in the foreign language or in English? I'm going to answer it in general terms, and then when we get to specific programs that we have 3 faculty members who will be presenting their programs, then they'll address their programs. So in general, majority of the programs that we offer by faculty, they do not require any language requirement. Like everything is in English. However, there are some programs that do have language prerequisites. So it really depends on the program. Any other questions? Okay. Next. We also, I guess we had to, or the field of international education had to adapt to what was going on and still going on in the world. So a lot of our partners have created virtual international internship opportunities. At first, to tell you the truth, I was extremely skeptical about this because to me, obviously, I'm kind of an old timer. I've been in study abroad for quite some time. I couldn't sort of, wrap my mind around this virtual international internship opportunity. However, as I have been sort of talking to students about their experience, turns out to be that it's a good experience to have, but I mean, the expectations obviously are different. You can't compare it to sort of a on-site international internships, but you still have an opportunity to collaborate, right? And work with global companies. You still have an opportunity to gain this global perspective and experience. And a lot of countries, they're all English speaking. So again, you don't need to speak another language to be able to participate. It is paired with an internship, a global workforce seminar. It is also a great professional development opportunity because, you know, you get to work on your resume, and our partners, they would help you to put together your resume. They would help you to put together your cover letter. So again, this is a good professional development opportunity. So if you are interested, Kyle is the advisor for virtual international internship. So I would encourage you to reach out, schedule an appointment with him to get a little bit more information. Of course, we have a lot of information on our website as well. I'm just going to look at the time, and I'm almost done. So just to summarize, in terms of the application process, I think you guys probably attended the first step session already, I assume, right? If not, you should go on our website, go to the first step session information and get started. Now you can attend it. Of course, it's still on Zoom, but we're also offering in-person session. So just see what works for you, look at the schedule. Of course, know your deadlines. So usually mid-October is the deadline for spring, mid-March is the deadline for summer and fall. Of course, when you're researching the programs, make sure you review the eligibility requirements. And again, you know, especially with the language, some programs may have language prerequisites. Choose a program and then apply to a program. This is our new Flames Abroad portal through which students will be applying to programs. It's not live yet, but it will be, I think it's going to go live either end of this week or early next week. Okay, funding. I know that I'm a little bit behind the schedule, so I am going to try to sort of summarize everything. So in terms of the funding, first of all, we put this graphic together. The main point is that study abroad is not more expensive than UIC. There are a ton of different programs, and we help students to find and identify the best program that will fit academically, but also financially. If you are on financial aid, any aid that you're eligible to receive for UIC, you can use that to pay for study abroad. So any grants, any loans. We also help students to apply to various scholarships. There are nationally competitive scholarships, there are UIC scholarships, there are program-specific scholarships. So there are a lot of different scholarships. We've also negotiated special discounts for UIC students depending on the program. Again, once you identify the program or once you have questions about the program, reach out to a study abroad advisor. And of course, we also actually have a lot of information on community-based funding on our website. So I would encourage you to look into that as well. Gilman International Scholarship, this is for Pell eligible students. If you are thinking or applying for spring and or summer programs, the deadline is October 5th. So really look into that. Again, just only two requirements: that you're Pell eligible and US citizen. If you are studying a critical need language, there's also additional $3,000. So you can get up to $8,000 in scholarship. We are offering info sessions. They're also listed on our upcoming events section of our website. So if you're able to make them, please plan on doing that. We also offer, we offer a lot of sort of help, and we really hope that you guys take advantage of that. We also offer scholarship writing workshops for various scholarships. So there are 2 that are coming up. They're all posted on our website. I'm not going to read this, but as you can see, obviously studying abroad, that's something that changes students' lives. And I think they're so excited to talk about that. But I really want to leave some, obviously, time for our faculty to talk about their programs. Again, there are a lot of different opportunities available all over the world, available for students who are interested in either starting a new language or continuing to learn a new language. Depending on where you are, you fulfill your basic requirements, or if it goes to major, minor. Again, they're all different options. And again, different advisors are very knowledgeable and they can help you. So just reach out to us. And there are also intensive language tracks or programs. So sometimes it's possible to fulfill 2 levels during one term that you're studying abroad. I don't see Kim here yet. So this is a program that is offered by our faculty, UIC faculty. So I think we are, am I ahead of schedule?
We can go first if Kim is just running late, right?
She just has some technical issues. So Keith and Carrie can go first since they're here.
Okay. There you go. It's all yours, Carrie and Kate.
Well, we already introduced ourselves a bit. I don't know, Carrie, do you have anything to add? We're both in the Hispanic and Italian Studies department. I'm more on the literature and culture end of things. And
yeah, I'm more on the linguistic end of things. I teach in the Spanish, Italian, and linguistics programs. And yeah, we've been spending several months in conjunction with the Study Abroad Office to put together this program that we'll be leading for the first time next summer. And it will be in Spain. And we'll give, of course, more information here. But yeah, so this is kind of jointly directed by both Keith and myself.
So this is just an overview. We're going to get into everything more specifically in the slides ahead. So if you have questions, we can take them, but also just the slides might address them. Who is it for? If you have Spanish at the time of the summer at 103 or higher, meaning even if you are just starting Spanish 101 and then do Spanish 102 in the fall, you would be ready for this class in the summer. We will be, as I mentioned, in Alcalá de Henares, which is right outside of Madrid, the capital city. It is a roughly 6-week program from early June to early, but a little later in July. There are several courses. Our title is, what was our title? Spanish through food, culture, language, and art. And each of those speaks to a different course that we will be offering that you will choose among. You won't be doing all of them. We'll get into how that works. And yes, as has been said, right, we bring the benefits of a study abroad program, the immersive experience of living with a Spanish family, a homestay. We will be doing excursions around the area, around Madrid, but also throughout Spain. We'll have various cultural events also in Alcalá and Madrid, and of course on the trips. And the credits you earn will go to a Hispanic studies, Spanish major or minor requirements, to language requirements, or even to gen ed requirements with one course, which we will again elaborate on as we go through the courses.
Great. So some of the course offerings for this program, we will have students, or the idea, we'll see what students we get, but the idea is that we'll have two separate groups of students. So we'll have our intermediate students and our advanced students. And I'll elaborate in just a second on what that means. All of the students who come on this program with us will take Spanish 225. It's 3 credits, and it's called La Cocina Española. So the Spanish kitchen, Spanish cuisine, all about Spanish food, its history, its traditions. We'll even have some cooking classes. And so just kind of looking at our environment at Spain through that culinary lens, and there's a lot to dig into there. So that will be for all students. And then our intermediate students will be those who are at the 103 or 104 level. So as Keith mentioned just a moment ago, if at the time of the program you have 103 or higher, you're eligible for the program, right? So if you are kind of finishing up your language requirement, you're rounding out those 4 semesters of the basic language program, you can take 103 or 104 there, and it will be at the Instituto Franklin, which is at the University of Alcalá. And so you will be able to get those full credits as if you were taking 103 or 104 on campus. So for intermediate students, they'll take the food course and then 103 or 104. For our advanced students, they'll take the food course, as with everyone, and then they'll have a choice between Spanish 366 or Spanish 375. Spanish 366 is a course that I will be teaching, and it's all about language variation in the Spanish-speaking world. So because we'll be in Spain, there will be special emphasis on Spanish within the country of Spain and the islands and autonomous regions that belong to Spain. But we'll also look at variation in terms of pronunciation, vocabulary, and kind of at all the different levels of linguistics, if you're familiar with linguistics or have taken a course before. So that's what we'll look at in 366. And then Keith will be teaching 375, and he can chat really briefly about what that course will have to offer.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie. So my class, which has the title La Novela Gráfica y la Pintura Española, is in some ways an introduction to Spanish art, specifically Spanish painting, the most important painters of Spain from the Renaissance and the Baroque to the 20th century. But we're going to do it a little differently by studying these painters through 5 graphic novels that are really graphic novel bios about these artists, going from Velázquez, Jose Rivera, Goya, Picasso, Dali, just to give you a quick look. And of those names,
I think Kate froze. Should I just then go to the next slide, Carrie?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and if he wants to add anything else.
Yeah, okay, we can always go back.
Perfect. Okay, great. So as we mentioned, the program will be primarily in a town called Alcalá de Henares, which is just outside of Madrid. Spain has a phenomenal train system and public transit systems in general. And there's a regional train that goes between Alcalá de Henares and Madrid. And you can get there in 30-45 minutes. It's quite direct, so it's really nice. So we will, throughout the program, be spending time in both. The main university and all of the classes and where the students will be living will be in Alcalá de Henares, which is also really nice. It's a really beautiful historic university town. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's the birthplace of Cervantes, and especially if it's your first time ever going abroad, it's a really great size to get to know the town well, but not feel so overwhelmed while also being right next door to Madrid. And we will take multiple excursions into Madrid. We'll get to visit art museums, the Royal Palace, restaurants, movie theaters, and have all different sorts of excursions there. And students are absolutely more than welcome and encouraged to visit Madrid in their spare time as well, especially since it's so close, and to take advantage of everything that Madrid has to offer.
Right, thanks. Sorry, I don't know what happened when I cut out. Did it also freeze before, or did I No? Is that okay?
It did freeze. You were at the tail end of talking about your novela gráfica class. So I don't know.
Okay, great. Yeah, and it shut me out. But thank you, Carrie. The only thing I was going to add is that what Carrie said, that as part of, related to the class, we will, of course, take advantage of being so close to the museums where many of these great paintings are housed. So in addition to that, we will be, in addition to Madrid and its cultural sites, we will be going to nearby Toledo, which is less than an hour away, but in a different region, La Mancha, which maybe you've heard of from Don Quixote de la Mancha. And it is a medieval town, a hilltop town, very picturesque, very pretty, has a long history and also a lot of culinary history. So we're certainly hoping to complement the cocina class with some culinary excursions. And
Si quieres me cuelgas y yo te marco después.
and further away,
Termina, son como unos 10 minutos, pero bueno.
further away, and at the end of the trip, we thank you. It worked. Toward the end of the program, we are going to have a 3-day capstone trip that takes us further away from the Madrid and surrounding regions down to Andalusia in the south. And we're going to start in Cordoba and then go to Sevilla. We're going to be looking at a lot of things, again, tying in with the, we're going to look at churches. Andalusia is also historically Al-Andalus, which is the Moorish Muslim kingdom of the Iberian Middle Ages, also home to Spain's Jews, the Sephardic Jews. So we'll be learning about Spain's Muslim and Jewish pasts with trips to medieval mosques, palaces, the Alcázar of Sevilla, juderias, the Jewish neighborhoods or synagogues. And yeah, we're really excited about that component as a way to also, have a nice long trip at the end. So yeah, and that's it. We hope to see you there. Yeah, Carrie, did you want to add?
Nope, that's it. That's it. And if we have time, we may or may not have time at the end, but if anyone has questions, certainly get in touch with us and we'll be more than happy. Or you can get in touch with the study abroad office as well, and they can answer questions that you have.
Thank you, Carrie and Kate. So hopefully we will have time in the end. As you can see, there is a slide there's a lot more faculty directed programs, but at this point, I would like to invite Professor Kim Potowski to talk about her program that is called Social Justice, Identity and Language in Oaxaca. And I am going to stop sharing my screen.
And I will share mine.
So you can go ahead and share yours.
I think you have to make me a co-host. Oh, wait, there we go.
I did. Mm-hmm.
You did. All right. Hi, everybody. So I'm here to talk about our program in Oaxaca. The title is Social Justice, Language, and Identity in Oaxaca. We have been going since 2013. You can see they've been relatively small groups. In the past, we were only allowed to bring UIC students, but starting this year, we are allowed to now accept students from around the US. So hopefully our numbers will increase. It was canceled, of course, 2 years in a row for reasons we all know. Hopefully in 2022, we'll have a nice large group of folks who want to go. So what this program does is provides the opportunity for heritage Spanish speakers to not only complete their language requirement, they can begin a major or a minor in Spanish, or they can simply build on their language abilities. If you're not familiar with this concept of a heritage speaker, this is someone who learn Spanish, typically through their homes. It's basically synonymous with being Latino or Latinx, although not always, but 99.9% of the time, this is who we're talking about. You probably know the University of Illinois at Chicago is an HSI, a Hispanic Serving Institution. So about 28% of our undergraduates are Latino, and approximately 80% of them are of Mexican origin. So it's a nice place for us to go with them. Now, why might a heritage speaker need or benefit from a program that is specifically tailored to them? They share with us some very interesting identity positionings. When they're here in the US, they're told, you're not American, you're Mexican. And then when they're in Mexico, they're told, you're not Mexican, you're American, right? So this is something that we address explicitly as part of the program. In addition, the way that US raised folks speak Spanish are frequently stigmatized. It can be associated with lower socioeconomic or rural communities. It does show influence from English. So they get this all the time from their primos en el rancho toda la vida, que your Spanish is bad and this and that. So we address this head on directly. Second language learners, no matter what they say, everybody's like, yay, good, wow, pat on the back, you're learning Spanish, right? And then heritage speakers say things that Mexicans may not expect, and they're given the stink eye and they're rejected for the ways they're speaking. They're called pochos, right? They get a lot of ugly things. So what we do is we equip students to expect and respond to some of these normative linguistic pressures and also prepare them for more formal Spanish in academic and job environments. So we are in Oaxaca, Mexico. I always tell people, you know how Mexico goes like that? Well, it's right where it curves there. It's a beautiful, very indigenous town as well. We partner with Olin Talwali, which is a language center. Students take 2 classes. One of them is, you have a choice there, you can see the menu, depending on where you're at in your studies. And then everybody takes together a Oaxacan culture class. However, you can choose to have that count for Latin American Latino studies if you prefer. The Spanish courses all promote, explore different kinds of content, but they all do promote some form of social justice. So these are folks who already speak Spanish, right? And we're using Spanish to talk about things, right? What are the things we're going to be talking about? Well, we talk about immigration, the digital divide. We talk about LGBTQ issues. We talk about all kinds of things that are, we hope, of interest to Latino communities. We also look at grammar and variation, which Carrie already mentioned that she'll be teaching. This is just a great topic. I think it's very timely. We look at the way that linguistic injustice is tied with social injustice and the ways in which what I call the cycle of linguistic prestige gets continually renewed and what we can do to hopefully break some of that cycle. Some students have done an independent study when they were far enough along in their studies. You can see on the bottom left there, Sara did an internship with the Red Cross. We've also hung out with women's collectives, colectivos, where they do weaving and things like that. I had an undergrad do an analysis of an indigenous community's women and the ways that they weave and then get money and then change the whole power dynamic where the men were typically in charge. And he had this accepted at LASA, the Latin American Studies Association. So that was quite remarkable. I was very proud of our program. The culture course, we look at networks between indigenous communities, local and global organizations. You can see these 2 folks right here are what are called muxes. These are born men, right? But they live lives pretty much as women. That's really simplifying things. If you look up muxes, you'll learn a lot about them. We are looking at the role of education in the construction of different views and practices. We spend a lot of time reading and discussing, but we spend also a lot of time walking around the city, talking to different people and things like that. We also got to participate in the very first International Assembly for Community Development. And you can see some of my students there, helped with registration. And we had people from Canada, all over the US and all over Mexico talking about indigenous rights. We go on field trips. Oh yes, we go on field trips. We go to Monte Alban, we see pre-Columbian stuff. We go to Hierve el Agua. Well, when it's open, they closed it for COVID. We'll see what happens next year. There's festivals in the streets, there's museums everywhere. We can see some of the very first documents that the Spaniards wrote here in this library. There's tons of street art. Oaxaca's full of a lot of lefty kind of street art people whose work we engage with. And that's what I have to say about our program. And I hope you will consider applying.
Thank you, Kim. I'm sorry you kind of had to rush through. We have 2 minutes left. So if there are any comments, questions, anything, we're here. Well, it looks like there are no questions, but yes, the recording of this session will be on, I believe, on our YouTube channel for anybody to view this. So hopefully they'll take advantage of that, or we'll send you a link so that maybe you can distribute it to your students to view it. Again, thank you everybody for coming. I wish there were more students, but this is a great start. I'm happy to see familiar faces. Looking forward to a successful spring 2022, summer 2022, any semester, sending students abroad. we're here. So if there are any questions or if anybody needs help, feel free to reach out. And again, thank you again for coming to students, and thank you for presenting, Carrie, Keith, and Kim. Good to see you, Kim.
Same
Been
here.
a long
Take care,
time.
everybody.
It's been a long
It
time.
has.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.